In the year 2142, in the far reaches of space, a Weyland-Yutani drone intercepts the drifting wreckage of the spaceship USCSS Nostromo. A team of specialists is sent to investigate. Inside the wreckage, they uncover a laboratory with a mysterious creature, a xenomorph curled up in a fetal position. Meanwhile, on the star colony Jackson Star, a young woman named Rain Karine is woken by an alarm. It's time for her shift in the mine. At breakfast, her adopted brother, Andy, joins her, trying to lift her spirits. He dreams of earning enough money to leave the colony and travel to a better planet called Ega. But Rain is skeptical, feeling trapped by circumstances, especially after losing her parents. Later, Rain visits the colony office to inquire about leaving, as she's already met the required work quota. To her frustration, the office worker informs her that the quota has been raised, preventing her from leaving. At that moment, Rain sees a group of thugs attacking her brother. She rushes to his aid, revealing that Andy is not human, but a synthetic. Rain resets him, and he regains consciousness. Soon after, Rain gets a call from her ex-boyfriend Tyler, who invites her to discuss a profitable deal. Though Rain is wary, she decides to meet him. She heads to the outskirts of town, where Tyler's ship, the Korbalin, is parked. On board are Tyler's cousin Bjorn, his girlfriend Navarro, and Tyler's sister Kay. Tyler explains that they've found an abandoned spaceship orbiting the planet. They believe the ship contains cryo chambers that can help them escape to Ega, but they need Rain's help, specifically Andy's skills with computer systems. Despite her reservations, Rain agrees to join them. The crew boards their mining transport and heads to the derelict spaceship. Bjorn, who constantly mocks Andy, annoys Rain, but Andy remains unfazed. As they rise above the planet, Rain sees the sun for the first time, a symbol of hope. Soon, the abandoned spaceship comes into view. It's clear that it's not just abandoned. It's rapidly falling toward the planet's rings, with only 36 hours before impact. Despite Rain's concerns, Andy follows his directive to protect her, no matter what. The tug docks with the ship, and Andy opens the airlock. As the group explores the ship, they find it still functioning, though its systems are unstable. The gravity fluctuates, but the oxygen supply is restored. Tyler locates the cryo chambers, but there isn't enough cryo fuel for everyone. However, they discover another large chamber that might have the fuel they need. As they investigate further, Rain learns that Bjorn's hostility toward Andy stems from an old wound. During a mining accident, an android left Bjorn's mother behind, leading to her death. Since then, Bjorn has hated all synthetics. Meanwhile, Navarro checks the cryo chambers, and Kay confides in Rain that she's pregnant. The ship's AI identifies the vessel's two main sections, Romulus and Remus. Bjorn reveals to Andy that they plan to leave him behind once his tasks are complete. Overhearing this, Rain feels guilty for not telling Andy the truth herself. As they explore, they find signs that the ship wasn't decommissioned, but abandoned in a hurry. Bjorn finds an electric whip and taunts Andy again, but the synthetic saves him from falling into a pit, where they discover the body of another android. The group eventually reaches the large cryo chamber and begins extracting fuel, but in doing so, they trigger an automatic lockdown. Andy is unable to override the system, signaling that something dangerous lurks in the room. Rain and Navarro board the ship to rescue them. Rain removes a chip from the damaged android they found earlier and plugs it into Andy, hoping it will grant him full control over the station. While doing so, Navarro admires the advanced technology. Suddenly, the damaged android grabs Rain's hand, but Navarro saves her just in time. They give the chip to Tyler, who installs it in Andy. As Andy reboots, he briefly sees strange creatures in the ship's systems. Bjorn, meanwhile, stumbles upon bizarre biological organisms in a flooded chamber, but is attacked by invisible creatures. Tyler tries to help, but is also attacked by a facehugger. Andy finally reboots and rescues Bjorn, but the facehuggers quickly break through the doors. One latches onto Navarro's face. To the group's surprise, Andy begins explaining the creature's behavior in scientific detail. Rain realizes that the chip is altering his programming. Now, Andy refuses to obey Rain, and Rook, the station's damaged android scientist, informs the group that Navarro has been implanted with a xenomorph embryo, which will soon merge with her DNA. Rook reveals that these creatures wiped out the station's crew, and Navarro is beyond saving. Despite this, Rain freezes the parasite's tail with cryo-fuel, briefly reviving Navarro. Rook warns Andy not to bring Navarro back aboard their ship, but Bjorn ignores the warning and takes her anyway. As they try to leave, Navarro suddenly convulses, and a xenomorph bursts from her chest, killing her. The Corbelan crashes into the hangar of the Romulus section, destabilizing the station's orbit and setting it on a collision course with Jackson Star's rings. Rain, Andy, and Tyler rush to the hangar to rescue their friends and escape. On the station, Rook reaches the command center and begins communicating with the ship's motherboard. Tyler and Rain encounter more creatures as they navigate through the corridors. Andy discovers that the facehuggers are blind, but can detect human body heat, so the group raises the temperature to blend in and slowly makes their way to the hangar. Meanwhile, Kay escapes the Corbelan and finds Bjorn. They try to flee, but discover the corridors filled with xenomorph cocoons. Bjorn tries to destroy one with his electric whip, but instead, it sprays him with acid, killing him instantly. Kay reaches a door but can't open it. Tyler and Rain attempt to help her but are attacked by facehuggers. Andy seals the doors behind them, cutting off Kay's escape. Despite Tyler's pleas, Andy refuses to reopen the hangar door. The group watches in horror as the xenomorph attacks Kay and drags her into the station's depths. After the initial shock, Rain realizes that Andy now has a new directive: to act in the best interest of the company. She understands that they must remove the chip controlling him. Andy orders them to leave, explaining that he will help them escape and then return to Jackson Star to complete his new mission. Andy leads the group to the lab, where Rook explains the station's discovery: a unique substance intended to help humanity evolve into perfect beings capable of colonizing the universe. The Prometheus 5 mission died for this cause, as the substance is considered a divine gift. It contains a genome that gives xenomorphs their ability to control their metabolism, and when introduced into human blood, it can instantly rewrite DNA, allowing humanity to evolve. Andy finds a capsule containing a black liquid, and since his mission is now to deliver this sample to the colony, he arms the group, hoping they won't need to use the weapons, as xenomorph blood can easily burn through the ship's hull. As they make their way back to the tug, they stumble upon a massive incubator full of creatures. Suddenly, Tyler hears Kay's voice and rushes to find her, forcing Rain to follow. They soon discover Kay, still alive, but cocooned by the xenomorph. After freeing her, Andy suggests injecting Kay with the black liquid to save her, but Rain opposes the idea. She proposes putting Kay into a cryo chamber so Earth's doctors can help her. At that moment, a xenomorph attacks, dragging Tyler away. Andy freezes, leaving Rain to drag Kay to the lift and seal the doors behind them. Rain catches Andy's farewell glance and realizes she can't leave him behind. She sends Kay to the ship, explaining how to handle the sample, and goes back for Andy. She removes the extra chip from his brain, restoring his original programming. However, the creatures are starting to activate. Rain pleads with Rook to open the doors, but he refuses to risk the station. Andy's access codes are also blocked. Meanwhile, Kay reaches the Corbelan, where she hears Rook's call to transfer control to him so he can bring her to the colony. Believing the black liquid will heal her wounds and protect her unborn child, Kay injects herself with it. On the station, Rain temporarily disables gravity to fend off the attacking xenomorphs. She and Andy make it to the lift, dodging the flying splatters of acidic blood. However, when gravity is restored, Rain loses her weapon and falls into the elevator shaft, where a xenomorph intercepts her. At the same time, the creature's acidic blood begins burning through the ship's metal, and Andy can no longer hold the lift. It crashes down, killing the xenomorph, but Rain barely manages to cling to the shaft's wall. Just when it seems like it's over, a new monster appears, but Andy arrives with a new weapon and kills it. A warning echoes through the station. The inevitable collision with the planetary rings is near. They rush to the tug, which has now fallen under the control of the station's mothership. Right before the station crashes into the rings, destroying it along with Rook, Rain stops the Corballan and informs Andy that their destination has changed. They're now heading to Iga. Suddenly, alarming signals come from Kay's cryo chamber. Rain rushes to it, finding Kay giving birth to an egg, from which a mutant xenomorph hatches. Rain ejects the egg into a cargo hold, arms herself, and descends to finish off the creature. But by the time she arrives, it has already grown, breaking free and using Kay's body for sustenance. Rain hears Kay's screams, but is too late. She finds Andy wounded by the creature. She watches in horror as the xenomorph kills Kay. Rain barely escapes into the transition chamber and dons a spacesuit. She lures the xenomorph into the cargo hold, and as the tug lands on the surface of the planet's ring, she ejects it into space. As she clings to the ship, the xenomorph grabs her, nearly smashing her helmet's visor. Despite the struggle, Rain manages to break free and climb back aboard. Later, Rain places the wounded Andy into one of the stasis chambers. Before putting herself into cryosleep, she contemplates their uncertain future and what awaits them when they finally arrive at Iga. This is where movie ends.